Welcome to Direct Diabetes, a podcast that aims to inspire and empower people in the diabetes community.
On today's episode, imagine a summer camp where kids with type 1 diabetes aren't just campers. They're superheroes learning independence, making lifelong friends, and proving that diabetes doesn't define them.
We're taking you inside the American Diabetes Association's Camp AZDA. From ziplining to hiking, archery to canoeing, hear why one longtime camper calls this place her diabetic Disneyland.
I'm here with Emily Madison, the Senior Director of Camps for the American Diabetes Association, and Amanda Cardenas, a staff member at Camp AZDA. Emily, the American Diabetes Association organizes camps for children with diabetes nationwide. What makes these camps unique?
ADA camps and diabetes camp in general provide a really unique camp opportunity for those kids living with diabetes. So our camps have trained medical staff as well as trained counselors who come out to each of our camps and are really able to provide that oversight and supervision to kids living with diabetes that they may not quite get at your typical summer camp. So I really like to say that our staff and our community with counselors that live with diabetes who are able to be role models to our kids really make it that unique experience for them.
And Camp AZDA, which stands for Camp Arizona Diabetes Association, it's held every summer in Arizona. So please tell us where it's held and when it was established, and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Camp AZDA started in 1976. It's located in Prescott, Arizona. We are at Friendly Pines Camp, and we have been there for quite a while and have an excellent relationship with them. So we are up in the mountains of Prescott. It's not too hot as you would think Arizona would be in the middle of the summer, but it's a really great location that we are lucky to be in.
And Amanda, how did you become involved with Camp AZDA, and what do you do there?
Well, my involvement started back in 2001 when I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I'm so incredibly grateful that this just so happened to come up right before camp started. And so I have been involved. So 2001, oh my goodness, let's do math. So I've been going to camp for almost 24 years now, which is just insane to think about. But the reason why I'm so involved is actually I ended up receiving a anonymous donation for my family for me to be able to afford to go to camp. And it's really just set me on a massive trajectory to be as involved as possible because it's completely changed my perspective on being a human living with type 1 diabetes. And it's just like my favorite place ever. I call it my diabetic Disneyland. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I get excited and I just keep going.
How old were you in 2001 when you were diagnosed?
Oh, people get to do math. So I was 7 when I was diagnosed, and I am now 31. So.
And what do you do at the camp now currently? How do you help out?
Primarily what my focus is so I am actually head of the fundraising for Camp AZDA. So I have zero shame with going to businesses and individuals and raising funds for camp because I want to gift these children with what I received as a kid. But I also, I'm one of the lead ropers. And what that means is I actually help train and mentor counselors throughout that week. So I have another partner. We both had that, which has been amazing. And we really just get to develop and continue the culture and just making sure people are confident while they're there at camp.
Great. Emily, please tell parents or guardians why they might consider sending a child to camp.
Yeah, camp has been impactful for me as someone who grew up going to summer camp and then working at the same camp for 15 years. And I saw the incredible opportunity that kids had to grow in such a short amount of time. And then you add this diabetes component on top of it, of being in this incredible community with others who are living with the same disease. So why should a parent send their kid away? To me, it's about independence. It's incredible what we see when we have a kid who's coming and they may be apprehensive on Sunday and they say, oh, I don't know if this is for me. Camp can be a little scary. There's a lot of people here. And then by Friday, they are coming out of their shell. They are changing their own pump sites. They are putting on their own CGMs, which may not have been something that they did at the start of the week. So being able to see that growth from Sunday through Friday is such a special thing. And I know that it's something that parents refer to all the time. And I still get parents who will call me at 2 a.m. wanting to know what their kids' blood sugars are and are apprehensive themselves. But to be able to know that your child is in good hands with staff like Amanda and others that we have, as well as our medical team, it's a pretty unique opportunity to be able to send your child to diabetes camp.
And Amanda, why would you tell parents that or guardians why they might want to send their kids to camp?
How long do we have for this podcast? So for me personally, people think about Camp AZDA as a camp for kids with type 1 diabetes, but really for what it has been for me and all of the other staff and the kids that I've seen, it's about the shift in perspective of what it's like to live life with a couple extra steps being type 1 diabetic. And just seeing, because for me personally, so when you're diagnosed a lot of the time, they tell you all the things you can't do anymore, and it's very discouraging. But then you get to this week-long summer camp and you are surrounded by people who have accomplished so many things that they were told they couldn't. We have fire chiefs, we have doctors, we have people who are doing things that are so incredible, and they're also managing themselves and their diabetes. So it's really beautiful to see people kind of shift their perspective. Well, I know I've said that before, but it's like you have no idea what it does to people seeing that there is an actual community of people. We are all different. We all come from different backgrounds, but we're connected by a bummy pancreas. And so it's just the most beautiful thing ever. It's the community. It's the resources. It's being able to feel like I'm not alone in this, and I can call this family, or I can call my friend who's dealing with these, crazy highs and lows, but this is a community of people who understand. And it's just beautiful. And I love it so much. I have an insulin pump that I wear and I make it colorful. And when people ask me about it, I used to try to hide things. And now when people ask me what this is on my arm, I just tell them it's a conversation starter. So that's just what camp has done for me. And I'm just so grateful for it. And that this is not something that's going to end your life. If anything, it's a start to a whole new one. So I love it. I just love camp.
That's great. Emily, what does medical care look like at camp?
We have doctors, nurses, CDEs, dietitians, social workers, amongst other medical staff that are on our team. So we are very fortunate that they come and volunteer their time in order to make our campers safe. So they will be the ones who will be dosing insulin, helping your child count carbs, checking their blood sugars, and doing all the ins and outs that parents as caregivers are used to doing every day.
And Amanda, you mentioned some of the fun activities that kids get to do at Camp AZDA. Can you run through the whole list?
Again, how long is this podcast?
Yeah.
So, it kind of varies on age as far as what's available for them. Now, we have two different sets of camps. So we have main camp, which are children from ages 8 to 13. Then we have the teen adventure program, which is 14 to 16. So the amount of opportunities that you have to do different things at this camp is just a long list. So for the younger kids, we have canoeing, we have fishing, we do archery, we have arts and crafts, we have hiking. We even have zip lines, which is amazing. And even for the teen adventure program, they've got all these just incredible different types of obstacle courses, rock climbing. They go to Sedona for the day and they do a bunch of different cool activities. There's just so many things. Again, it's a camp, it's a summer camp, and we're just managing and making sure people's diabetes are good. And so it's everything you can imagine.
Sedona is so beautiful with the red rocks, and what a great opportunity to go there as well. Emily, how much does Camp AZDA cost? And as Amanda mentioned, there is financial assistance, right?
There is. So camp is $825 for the week, and financial assistance is available. So, at the ADA, we believe that no child should ever be turned away from camp due to the cost. So during our registration process, families can apply for financial assistance to cover part or the full cost of camp.
Great. And Amanda, I understand there are special names at Camp AZDA. Tell me about those. How did those work?
Well, so it's funny that you keep calling me Amanda, because anything camp related, I am conditioned to not respond to that name. So with that being said, any children or parents who are considering going to Camp AZDA, you don't know who Amanda is. At Camp AZDA, I am Tasty Face. Which is it's another story. We can totally get into it on your next podcast. So really what happens, and the reason why we do what we do at Camp AZDA, is because the way we see this environment is we are coming into the absolute best versions of ourselves. And what that is our name. So how we get the names is once you are hired and you pass everything, background check, interview, all that stuff. Right before camp, we actually stand you in the front of the room. You get to talk to all 80 to 115 peers about fun facts about yourself, special talents, embarrassing stories, and anything you say can and will be used to make your camp name. So, for example, Emily is known as Not Snooky. We have other people named Farba, Peanut. We even have a girl named Zit. So it's a lot of fun for the kids. And it's a lot of fun for us because it's the embodiment of who we are as amazing, wonderful diabetics. And, we just take on that alter ego in a sense and, really get to put our best foot forward that we don't normally always do, in real life. So.
Did you say your name is Tasty Face?
I did indeed say that. Yes.
Okay, I need to hear the story.
Okay. Since you asked, and this might make it easier for parents when I introduce myself to understand how I got it. So when I was 17, I just graduated high school, and I was also sponsored, and I graduated culinary school at the same time. At that time, I was very nervous talking in crowds. And the thing is, everyone that's in this room are all of my idols, my mentors, my role models, people I've grown up with since I was 7 years old. And when I was doing the interview, people were like, oh, what are you really good at making? Because I told them about culinary school. And Valentine's Day just happened. I made 400 chocolate covered strawberries. I sold them. That was a side hustle I did. And at that time, I said I was really good at it. Well, we have two chefs that were in this room. One's name is Easy Mac. The other one's name is Meatwad. And I'm nervous the whole time I'm doing this interview, to where they almost called me Bambi because my knees kept buckling. But the girl Meatwad was like, oh, you're really good at designing chocolate covered strawberries. Could you ever design one of my face? And the only time I wasn't nervous and I didn't hesitate in responding, I was like, well, I've never put someone's name and face on a chocolate covered strawberry before, but if yours was on it, I'm sure it would be extra tasty.
Oh, cute.
So, as I said, what you say can and will be used for your camp name.
That's fun.
I would agree with that statement because I said I'm from New Jersey originally. And I said, come on, guys, I know Jersey Shore is a big thing. There's so many more things about me than just New Jersey. So I said, we can do something better than Snooki or JWoww. So that's how the name Not Snooky came about. And, I signed my emails, Not Snooky, to parents and staff. And they will still call me Emily at times, but I do remind them at camp I am Not Snooky. So camp names are unique and fun, like Amanda said. And we laugh and we absolutely love them.
So, Rebecca, when you come to AZDA this year, you will also get the opportunity to earn a nickname as well.
I can't wait. That'll be fun. Do you guys wear name tags or have T-shirts or anything with your names on?
I was going to say.
Oh.
My desk. It says Not Snuggy.
That's fun. Well, Amanda, I'm sure you have a lot of fun stories from camp. Can you tell us one or a couple of stories?
Oof. I mean, it depends. Do you want funny, embarrassing? Do you fun?
your best story. It can be either.
Man, there's so many, and it's funny, before this interview, I was like running through my brain of all the things that I could share. And it's just like, I've been going, so this is my 14th year volunteering, but again, I've been going for 24 years. So just having to like go through the list of things, oh my goodness. I mean, every year is different. 2024, we had rain that doesn't normally happen. And I got to see some of the coolest interactions with the kids and the counselors and what they were doing to just like keep themselves having fun and entertained. I just seeing what people were doing to be creative with their time was a lot of fun. Also, I think a really fun thing that we just started doing the last 2 years was we started doing WWE, in a sense, with the counselors, and the kids would come up with different backstories for all of their counselors, and they'd get them dressed up, and it's a whole production. And it's just so funny to watch the kids like interaction and involvement and excitement, and just seeing everyone like cheer and do all that stuff. That's amazing. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some other, there's so many things that I don't think I can find the words to give a best story right now. I'm a little embarrassed.
No, I think I was going to say I think it'll stick with me for the rest of my life. And it happened at a diabetes camp, but not AZDA. And I do not live with type 1. But again, I've been in the camp world for way too long now at this point. And at a camp in Ohio, I had an entire dining hall of kids chant the word muggle at me, which, if you don't know, muggle means you're not a wizard in Harry Potter world. So I was not someone with diabetes at camp, and I've never had like 150 kids chant muggle at me just because I didn't have diabetes. But it was one of the most like incredible special moments because I was the odd one out in that moment.
Right.
And I think that's what makes camp, so unique and so great, because it is this community where you're like, oh, there's a pump going off. Oh, there's that alarm. And it, no one's asking you, what's that noise or what's going on. So I wore the title of Muggle pretty proudly that year.
I actually just thought of a really cute one, if you'd like me to chime in on that.
Sure.
So it's really cool to see kids coming out of their shell throughout the week. I mean, like she would say, it's crazy to see their mannerisms and how they were at first on drop off on Sunday to where their parents come to pick them up that week. And so there was one that really stuck within my head where there was this kid, he was 8 years old, newly diagnosed, newly as in the last 6 months. And parents always did his shots and his pump sites for him. He was terrified to do these things on his own. And what we typically do at the beginning of the week is we like to set one goal for somebody to do with their diabetes. Like, for example, when I was first diagnosed, I hated doing finger pokes, and the challenge was for me to do it by myself. And so the kids seeing this 8-year-old terrified to do his own pump site, he was surrounded by all 7 of his cabin mates who were cheering him on. You can do it. Like, here, I'll show you with mine how it works. Like, just seeing how the kids like come together and really support and encourage one another to try new things, to branch out. It's so beautiful. Like, I love seeing, like, some people it's small, but to us as type 1 diabetics, like, being able to be more self-sufficient is just a massive like thing for us. So it's just, I think that's one of my favorite parts, is seeing the development through that.
That's wonderful. And Emily, you're always looking for team members who can help with camp, right? Who are you looking for, and how should they apply if they're interested?
Yes. So we ask for licensed medical staff in the state of Arizona. So again, doctors, nurses, CDEs, dietitians, anyone who's licensed and feels comfortable working with diabetes. And if you don't feel completely comfortable, that's okay. We have training to help you get through that if you're just interested in learning more. And we also hire camp counselors for the summer, anyone who is over the age of 18. And I will dive into it in a second. But you can always get all of our information on diabetes.org/Camp AZDA. That has our staff application on it, and our camper registration opens February 12th. And AZDA does sell out. So I would, if you're interested and thinking about camp, I would always say register sooner rather than later.
Okay, great. Well, okay, so that website again, if people want to learn more about sending their kids to Camp AZDA, it's the same website, right?
Same website. And if you're not located in Arizona and looking for other idiot camps across the country, we have 52 sessions of programs happening around the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. You can head to diabetes.org to find all of that information.
Okay, great. Is there anything we didn't cover that either of you wanted to mention?
So we're always looking for donations in like kind. So if you know anybody who owns businesses that really do want to give back, we're always looking for low supplies, for snacks. We're looking for medical stuff. So like there is always something that we're going to need. And so we're always looking at the kindness of others to be a part of that, whether it's sharing this podcast and getting the word out, even a couple dollars. I mean, every single thing counts. And personally within my own business, anything related to Camp AZDA and additional diabetes organizations, I am donating portions of my compensation to then be able to sponsor children for camp. So if anybody else that you might know within your network that want to get involved and become like a known name through Camp AZDA, we would absolutely love to partner and find ways to not only boost their business, but like partner with them. We're just always looking for opportunities.
Well, thank you so much, you two. This sounds like such a great opportunity for so many children. It's wonderful that you put this together and do this every year for these kids.
If you would like to learn more, log on to diabetes.org/Camp AZDA.